Up next, we have a pseudo sequel in the Final Fantasy series. It's actually part of the Saga series, but it's Final Fantasy Legend II on the original Game Boy. Like I said, Final Fantasy Legend II is actually just the second game in the Saga series, and it's a standard like kind of 8-bit RPG, like Final Fantasy, the first Final Fantasy, or Dragon Quest. It's sort of in that genre. You kind of start off, you can pick some different classes, races that have different attributes and really different play mechanics, to begin with, which is an interesting idea, and I like that. I applaud them for that. But like most 8-bit RPGs, man, the random battles are just way too often in this game. It's just like sometimes you'll get out of a battle and you'll take one step and you'll just have another combat encounter. It's way over the top. And to make matters worse, there's no leveling up mechanic in this game. Your characters just level up their stats randomly. It's literally just random. So you could spend 3 hours grinding and maybe only level up a stat 2 times, or you could spend 30 minutes and you'll level up 7 times. And it's really annoying not knowing how much time you're going to need to put in, and you're going to have to put in time because you really need to grind in this game. The people that review it online, they're like, oh, you can beat it in 6 hours or so. It's really short. That's only if you're like a master of the game and you know how to exploit every little mechanic in it to get an advantage. For your normal, sane person who's just diving into this the first time, it's like a 12 or 15 hour RPG. And things like that, like not being able to just grind up your XP normally and just rely on like random number generation really to dictate how strong your characters get is frustrating. It's time wasting, and I really didn't like that mechanic. And not only that, your weapons and your abilities that your characters use, they break or they become unusable after like a set number of uses, like 15 or 20 times. So you have to constantly keep purchasing or replacing your weapons or going back to an inn to rest, which eats up like 75% of the money you make over like a grinding trip. So let's say you're in a village and you walk outside and you grind 8 battles. Half your weapons break. You may be leveled up 1 or 2 times or not at all, or 70 times, who knows. And then you go back into town and let's say you made like 1,000 gold. Staying at the hotel or at the inn will use like 850 of your gold, which just eats up even more time. So it's just like a relentless, like an inexorable grind you can't really overcome. And it's super irritating. And so I wasn't a fan of the first one. I'm not a fan of this one either. It's not something I would recommend. Although it does look cute, and I think the graphics are pretty good for a Game Boy game, and the music's nice as well. But it's the same old sort of 8-bit trope in terms of story. You're looking for some crystal or a version of a crystal to stop a great evil from coming, and you have to find all the crystals. And your father, he deserted you as a child. Your father abandoned you. He went out to grab something and never came back, and you're kind of hunting for him. And it's just, we've seen it so many times. I just don't think there's anything here in the recording of this video, which is 2022, to maintain your interest unless you're like a real fan of these deep cut sort of RPGs from the yesteryear. That being said, is Final Fantasy Legend II something you should play today? I don't really think so. I don't think it's worth your time. It's fun. Collectors need it for the Final Fantasy collection, but it's just it's not something that fits in with the busy time schedule that people have these days, especially not mine. It was a real chore for me to get through it, and honestly, I didn't finish the game. I put in about 10 hours and felt like I had seen everything there was to see, and there wasn't really anything new I was interested in finding out about the game. And so I decided to put it on the shelf and move on to greener pastures, so to speak. So I would give Final Fantasy Legend II, which is really Saga 2, sadly, a 4 out of 10, guys. Sorry.